up, Nerds Nation? Welcome to the F and Nerds Podcast, episode 18. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Nick Nizio, and sitting across from me is my dude, Martin Moreno.
Welcome back, bro.
Thanks, man. So we got a beefy episode for you guys today. Bro.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So we got a beefy episode for you guys today, but before we get started, if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you give us that thumbs up and click that subscribe button. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else, please check back each week as we try to upload new content for you guys to listen to. So, okay. Really excited to be back. I've been wanting to do this episode like all last week when I just got back from vacation and, wanted to talk DC FanDome with you. And literally like the day before I come back, we get this absolutely horrendous news that actor Chadwick Boseman passed away after a 4-year battle with colon cancer. The beloved actor portrayed such icons as Jackie Robinson in 42, James Brown in Get On Up, and more notably as King T'Challa, aka Black Panther in the MCU. He made appearances as the character in such films as Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and his own solo film, Marvel's Black Panther. He was 43. I've been thinking about this like nonstop since the news broke. I remember when it did break, I had such a knot in my stomach. It was actually my younger brother who, he just yelled out from his room. He goes, "Why am I getting text messages that Chadwick Boseman passed away?" And as soon as I heard that, I immediately thought of that photo.
It was the video.
It was a video that came out.
It was like a selfie video. I'm not sure if it was for. I can't remember what it was for.
It was for something, but it was like back in like March or April when
maybe
it was
for
dropped.
The George Floyd murder.
Maybe
not entirely. Can't remember, but yeah, I remember seeing that video, and he quickly deleted it too because of all the backlash that came from it.
People that came and like I think we just assumed that maybe it was for a role.
Yeah,
but
something was wrong.
He was just really thin, like almost like weight even for. Like Christian Bale doesn't get that thin, you know what I mean?
Couldn't even see
like
his neck.
I know,
that's how bad it was.
So
his beard like almost took it over.
Right. So, that happened, and I think people just assumed it was for a movie role, and then you didn't hear about it for a while, and then you just get this, just this awful news that he had passed away, and that he had this for 4 years, and he had done like. Just you think of all the movies that he has done in these last 4 years. I mean, like the resume is insane, and that he was able to, film and shoot, all this stuff, especially as big as movies that the Avengers movies are. And he had done this like while he was battling cancer.
He was doing it in between chemo. He was doing it in between surgeries. Not to mention how in shape he got for Black Panther.
Right.
Like he was he beefed up. And yeah, I remember when I first noticed it. I think he was on Kimmel promoting 21 Bridges, and that's when I kind of first noticed that he lost a lot of weight.
He was really thin,
and I was like, okay, maybe it's for a role or something. I wasn't sure. And then that one video that came out, I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, is he okay? Is he just for a role? We're not sure. But yeah, man, this for me is up there with like because I'll be honest, like when celebrities pass, I'm like it's tough. But I think for me the ones that hit the hardest was when Carrie Fisher passed and when Adam West passed.
Okay.
I think this is like right up there. It definitely like I was like in denial. I'm like this can't be true. Like I don't believe this. And you, like you just said, the amount of work that he's put in the past couple of years. It's just like that just goes to show of like just how passionate he was as an actor. It goes to show what a fighter he was. The fact that he was literally dying,
right, and
still working,
right.
Like the guy he's a fucking trooper, as Spike Lee called him.
Yeah.
And it's just it sucks. Like this is I'm still not over it. To be honest, it's still like kind of.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like I haven't had a celebrity's death affect me as much, probably since like Robin Williams. You know what I mean? Like it's like
which was even before West and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, so that's kind of like how much, and like and it's something that you don't think about. I think until that they do pass away, how much it does affect you, and kind of everything that's been going on, this year alone, and kind of where we're at with everything. His death is almost amplified by it. As hard of it as it is, just the fact of this year that we've had, it makes it that much worse that we've lost like such an icon as he is, and. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, and like, it's heartbreaking, and it's even more heartbreaking when I think about like the kids that have idolized like Black Panther since the movie came out, and like this is like their hero and everything, and it just makes it that much worse. Like it reminds me a lot of Christopher Reeve for Superman, like when he passed away, and like the type of, growing up with him as people's Superman, and like the generation that he had, like it feels like that kind of same thing. And it's like I said, my heart breaks for those kids, my heart breaks for his family, and it's rough. This is a big loss. This is a really big loss.
That's actually what gets me the most, is because like I'm the kind of person who's like, people who I care about, like seeing those people happy like makes me happy.
Yeah.
And obviously I think about Chris. Yeah. Like I can't help, like I've mentioned him before, he's my best friend and he's black. And I remember when we went to see Black Panther, it was we went to see it in some movie theater in Newark, New Jersey. And it was like the theater was just insane. Yeah. Like they clearly never had a swarm of people like that before. They literally had no idea what was going on. They didn't know how to handle it. It was just a shit show. But we finally saw it, and like the energy and just the vibes in that theater were different. Like you can tell it was something special. And then after that, we went to like, he's gonna listen back to this, I know he is, and he's just gonna probably be like laughing, but we went to like this ghetto ass Applebee's, which was like right across the street, and we were just like talking about the movie, and it was just this good energy. It was like a feel good vibe. I think up to that point I was probably like, because sometimes when you leave the theater and you have this high, like that was probably like the best high that I had at that point in a while. And then when we went to see Infinity War again, like I remember this vividly. I remember like I was sitting down, like Chris was on my right, and when they're talking about like who can help out Vision, and Cap says like, I know someone who can, and we cut to Wakanda, and you hear that music.
The drums start before you cut to Wakanda.
Yeah, and then the second you see like Boseman's, like you get that reaction in the movie theater. Like I remember Chris was like, oh, he was like, my king, and he just did like instinctively, he just did the sign. Yeah. And that just kind of goes to show the impact that he had on a whole bunch of people, especially the black community, obviously. And when it's just people who you really care about, knowing that someone like this has gone just makes it that much harder. Yeah. And it's like, and that's really what got me. Like I started thinking about those memories that I had, and just the impact that he had as a character, not just in the Infinity War, but also in Endgame, when people were talking about how like, we saw like that great tweet someone said about how like how we revered the character, he made us like revere that character and stuff like that. And it's like that's like those kinds of things is what really like just like took me out. Like I couldn't.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I always think about too like with Black Panther. Like I think Black Panther at this point is probably one of the most important films to have come out in like the last like 10 years. Not in terms of like it's, because we can like debate its quality, like whatever you want to say about it, but just like its impact and what it's done for the industry, and the changes that it hoped to make, and that it's starting to make, and everything that it did, like it's there, man. It's a cultural like imprint forever now, and he's the guy that's led the charge of it. And I know like even like in the past, I think we had a discussion like a couple episodes ago about because I think there was always a slight criticism on the movie about how he's kind of overshadowed by Michael B. Jordan in the movie and everything, and and even me too. Like I think I even went in and said that I thought the Russos handled him better in Civil War than he did in his own solo movie. And then I haven't seen the movie since last year, Black Panther, and I we're gonna rewatch it I think a couple of times, but I think there was something to be said about his coolness and his calmness, while playing the character in Black Panther. And he just had like this, like, just staying there and not saying anything, but just the look he would give. And like, he just had like this very powerful presence
of a king.
So I am, it's going to have a whole much different meaning now going back and watching it, but I am excited to go back and rewatch it and really focus on his performance. Cause all things that have happened, maybe I didn't give it the credit that it deserved. So I am, I want to give it another rewatch, but I am going to miss him. I'm really going to miss him, man. Like seeing him for the first time in 42, that was obviously, I think, a lot of people's first experiences of him.
Was draft day before 42?
After, yeah. So just, seeing, that for the first time and not knowing who he was, and him just knocking it out of the park, no pun intended on that, but just like how fantastic he was playing Jackie Robinson. And yeah, man, this is like,
that's the thing too. It's like because that was maybe like 7-8 years ago. Yeah. And you just feel the amount that he had to give
in such a short time.
Yeah, like well, the amount that he did in such a short time, right. But what he was going to do. Like, you just know that he was like destined for great things. Yeah. Like I believe it was Kevin Hart who said that he was going to win an Oscar within the next 5 years, and I believe it. Yeah, I definitely believe it. I think he definitely would have. And just the way he changed his roles, and he embraced these different roles and these different characters, just it sucks.
It does.
We definitely lost. We definitely lost not only like a great actor, but just someone who was just poised and destined for so much greatness.
Yeah, absolutely. So, from us here at the Effing Nerds, our hearts and, our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his friends. And yeah.
Agreed.
All right, Martin, now we're going to discuss DC FanDome. So DC FanDome was a virtual 8-hour event that showed off some of DC's biggest properties across all aspects of entertainment, from film to TV and video games. It ended up being a massive success, drawing 22 million views from 220 countries. All right, so there's a lot to break down. This was a really fun event to watch.
It was, man.
It was so much fun, and I'm happy that it had the success that it did. And let's just jump right into this. So we're going to first discuss the Multiverse panel that had Greg Berlanti, Jim Lee, and Walter Hamada, and they kind of had this huge conversation about what the multiverse is and what it could mean for the whole franchise going forward. And so what were some of...
Tiffany Smith was the host, right?
Yeah, she was the host.
Yeah,
she's
always
cool.
fun.
Yeah, she's always awesome to watch. So what were some of your thoughts on this conversation?
Man, there are some things that I take away from this. For starters, I love the sort of leadership that Hamada and Lee are kind of bringing to this. I feel like a lot of things that they said they said the right stuff, so to speak. A lot of things that they said made sense, and it kind of gives you that feeling that they kind of have the right people in charge now.
Yes.
I know they've been back and forth, kind of had some issues with the sort of leadership behind the DCEU and the DC in general. But from what I got from this panel was that they now kind of have somewhat of like a good captain steering the boat, so to speak. And I love that. Just one of the few things that he said. I love how Walter pretty much said it's all about like the right stories, which is a very Kevin Feige type of statement. He was like, if the right story comes from like a right storyteller, then yeah, we'll definitely explore it. But we're not just going to go ahead and just because a fan wants this character. Like, no, let's focus on the story.
Right.
Because that's how it should be. And then I love how they talked about how pretty much, I mean, they didn't say this directly, but essentially they use the CW TV or the television platform as a sort of playground.
Yes.
To see, okay, let's experiment with the multiverse. Let's see if we can make it work. It was obviously a big success with Crisis. And then from there, they kind of use that as the building block. So that's kind of how Berlanti factored into that, because Berlanti's obviously, him and Guggenheim are kind of like in charge of like the CW TV stuff.
Right.
But hearing them kind of indirectly say the fact that, yeah, we kind of use this as a kind of like a playground, and then from there they can kind of branch off, and again, just kind of like, okay, let's test the waters, let's see how it works, and then we'll see how we can make it better on the bigger screen. Like those kinds of notions, those kind of ideas, that sort of thinking is what makes me excited for the future.
Right. And I will kind of agree with exactly what you said, because people have been calling for DC to have like a Kevin Feige type in charge. And when I was watching this panel with these three guys talking about just the franchise, I was like, this is DC's Kevin Feige now. Like these three guys, obviously Berlanti has TV kind of on lockdown, and you have Jim Lee and, Hamada that are kind of more film. But I was like, we're good. We're good now. I felt good watching this.
Yeah.
I felt that DC's now in a really good spot. And one of the cool takeaways that I saw was they asked Hamada if they're going to do more kind of like one-offs like the Joker.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, absolutely. But when the right thing comes along, and he's like, I don't want the one-offs to kind of be like every year we have like a one-off, because I want to feel special when one comes along.
Which Jim Lee also said in when you think of it as an annual, it's like this like kind of once in a year event where you get these crossovers, and it's like that special event. We also want to kind of translate over that to movies.
Yeah.
And kind of like you were talking about like the Kevin Feige type. Feige is like, look, I don't know what type of DC fan Walter Hamada is, but clearly he understands this business, this industry. And I know we've had something similar like in the past, like John Berg and whatnot, but like I said, this just feels different. And even though he's not a DC fan, now you have Jim Lee,
right? Who
clearly, I was worried that it was going to be a similar situation with Jeff Johns, because Jeff Johns also really knows the property. He also really knows the characters and created some great characters in the past like 15, 20 years. But it sounds like Jim Lee has just a little bit more of like I feel like he has a little bit more of an understanding of what works better when it comes to like the film department.
Yes.
So their partnership, it just makes me excited. It just makes me happy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So now we're going to jump over to the Titans panel where they kind of, talked about some of the fan favorite moments from the last 2 seasons, and then they kind of previewed season 3, where they kind of go into the new characters that are coming in. I think one of them is Blackfire, which I don't know, was Blackfire in season 2?
She was towards the
It was like a little like cameo kind of thing,
and
right?
I believe she was also towards the end of season 1, if I'm not mistaken, when Starfire finds her ship. I believe we get like the mention of her, and then we actually see her in season 2.
Right, and then I think season 3 she's going to become more of a mainstay like cast member.
Which they kind of like alluded to in the second season.
And then we're going to get Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka Scarecrow. Oh, yeah, baby. We're going to get Commissioner Barbara Gordon. And then they've been teasing it, I feel like, for 2 seasons now. Jason Todd is going to become Red Hood. And I believe watching this panel, even though you're going to have Scarecrow in there, I think Red Hood's going to be the overall villain towards the Titans. Cool. Which is interesting. I don't watch Titans. I've seen a few episodes here and there. Not to kind of bag on the show, but it seems like it's a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to, I think it in general.
We'll at some point talk about the DCEU shows. I know I said that a lot, but I just feel like at the beginning, again, they had Akiva Goldsmith, I can't remember what his name is, but regardless, I just feel like they had someone, they didn't know what to do really. They were trying to be cool and edgy and different. So like, all right, let's go hardcore. Let's be raw and have cursing and these bad blood CG, whatever. But they kind of started off, they did the same thing with Doom Patrol, but I think they found their footing as they went on. I think season 2 got a lot better. And where they were at a point when Harley Quinn came out, pretty much about a year and a half into like kind of developing these shows, where they were like, okay, they kind of got their shit together. Mm-hmm. And Harley Quinn is also very over the top, very R-rated, but that one feels complete. That one feels whole. Unlike where Titans, and at least for me personally, the first season of Doom Patrol just felt like they didn't really have a clear identity, or they didn't really know exactly who they were. Mm-hmm. They were just trying too hard to be hard, so to speak. Right. But like I said, second season kind of found its footing, and really dove into the sort of character development with some of these characters that we have, and obviously Jason Todd was a big focus in season 2. So I'm excited. Well, I remember when season 2 finished, I had some issues with it, but I was excited for season 3. Right. So I'm excited now that they're bringing in these characters, because these are cool, fun characters that as a fan you just love. Right. And I'm excited to see what Colonel Walsh is going to do as Jason Todd, because I'll give it to him. What I've seen, what we've gotten from him so far, he's done a fantastic job. Yeah. I really enjoy what he's done and his portrayal, so I'm excited to see more. Well, I was to say, like, even though I don't watch the show, there were certain, like, scenes that I watched, and just, seeing the fact they had him in there, and I think he's definitely one of the best. I think he's one of the best parts of the show, at least. Well, my favorite part of the show got killed off at the end. I mean, look, it's already Connor Leslie as Wonder Girl was my favorite part of the show. She was in season 1, season 2, and then she got killed off at the end for no fucking reason. It was just the dumbest. They'll probably bring her back. I don't know why. I don't know if she has other scheduling commitments or what. I don't know. If that's the case, then good for you. Right. Go do your thing, Wonder Girl. You were awesome. I loved you. But her death was just so flat, so unnecessary, and it just felt like they were just trying to give you an emotional punch at the end of season 2. Yeah. And it was just so bad. In my opinion, it was just so poorly done and so stupid. I was like, whoa. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. And the other cool thing was, I forget who the showrunner is. I forget his name, unfortunately. But he talked about how there's some sort of like how they're doing like a second generation kind of thing, where you had Batman and Jim Gordon, and now you're going to have Nightwing and Barbara Gordon. So I'm really curious to see how they're going to incorporate Barbara Gordon into this, and with also her being the commissioner. I believe that season 1 and 2 were Berlanti, Goldsmith, and Guggenheim, I believe. Yes. I'm not sure if that's who they're still doing it for season 3. Well, in the panel, they had kind of like the lead guy, I guess. So I don't know. Actually, a few moments later, just let me confirm that it's Guggenheim, because I'm not really sure. A few moments later. And we're back, and it's not Guggenheim, it's Greg Walker. Yeah. So it was Greg Walker who was on the panel. Yes. So he was talking about, bringing Barbara Gordon in, and dealing, like I said, dealing with like the whole second generation aspect of these characters. And I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Like I said, they did, like my favorite thing, I love superheroes and their civvies. Like that awesome Ultron scene when they're having the dinner and they're fucking around with the hammer. We got a lot of that in season 2 of them being in their regular clothes around the back computer, talking Deathstroke, talking shop. Like, I love seeing that. It just kind of gives it a more sort of humane element, makes the characters a little bit more relatable. And just me personally, that's the kind of shit I like to see. Yeah. And we got a lot of that in season 2. So if we get some more of that, some more character development, I'm all for it.
Cool. Maybe I'll actually break down and watch the.
You know what? I can give you like a recap of season 1, and then we can just do like I'll rewatch season 2 again,
or rewatch like some of the more better episodes that.
Like I mean, you saw a little bit of that CG that I was mentioning in the previous episode, so I'll try to do a stray away from that. But one thing too that I want to say, I know he's busy now with the Mission Impossible movies, but if they get the actor to come back as Deathstroke in the future, I would love that because I thought he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And I thought the Deathstroke costume itself was really good. And some of the fight stunt scenes in both seasons were also really good too. Mm-hmm. Aside from the not necessarily CG blood splatter.
Yes. All right, cool. So let's move on now. We're going to jump over to the Black Adam panel, which I didn't really know what to expect from this. Obviously, we know that Black Adam's been in development for years, like not just a couple years, but years.
Forever.
And with this, it's like, that they were supposed to start shooting and then COVID hit, so they haven't started shooting yet. So I didn't know what to expect from this. It was just gonna be The Rock literally talking in front of a green screen, which it is a little bit like that. But
this is classic Rock.
But it was really cool because what they did was Jim Lee kind of drew up some concept for the movie, and they kind of gave like a little bit of like a motion kind of animated thing where you had The Rock narrating, and they were talking about what's coming with this movie and what it's going to discuss, and bringing the JSA in and all that kind of stuff. And I actually really liked it. And it got me somewhat hyped for Black Adam, like when it is going to finally come out. And I thought it was cool.
Yeah, except I did roll my eyes, I'll be honest, when he's like, "This is something you haven't seen before. We're going to change the game." I'm like, that's such a classic Rock statement. And not just that, but he said it so many times.
You gotta love it. Or no, what is it? The DC hierarchy is about to change or something like that.
Things will never be the same because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Yeah, and I was just like, all right, it's just him.
We get it.
It's this classic Rock being the salesman, being the showman that he is.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna get. We've touched on this a little bit before. We hope that he is collaborative and that he doesn't try to take over the movie, like, work with the creators, work with the producers.
And it has a specific vision. And
yeah, I don't want to cut away every single 10 minutes for people's eyebrow or like a flex or something like that.
I don't think we're going to get that, though.
I hope not.
And I really feel like that they are going to, because it kind of carried over a little bit into Shazam, which we'll get to in a little bit. But like they're really going to focus, I think, on building up this Shazam side of DC and all this stuff. So I feel like it's going to have more cohesiveness going into Shazam as well. So that's kind of like what I feel like we're going to get, like a legit like movie and not just like another Rock movie.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And something else I wanted to mention, I love the characters that they're bringing in for multiple reasons. Dr. Fate, obviously, you can use them as a sort of English is not my first language. What's the word?
Gateway.
Yes, thank you. You can use them as a gateway for some more dark multiverse or just multiverse materials.
Right.
Obviously, he's got the. I don't know if you're familiar with the tower, and I believe it's called the Tower, the Dark Tower. It's literally just this house. It's Dr. Fate's house. It's floating in like the realms of the multiverse. It's really cool.
Well, not to cut you off, but in Shazam, the first Shazam, that little. A caterpillar thing, isn't that also multiverse kind of aspect? It's another doctor.
Yeah, it's another doctor. Yes, but you're right.
But that's also part of like a multiverse kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
But you can use him to kind of go more into the multiverse aspect of the whole DCEU. Obviously, with Hawkman, who is a character that I personally love, I'm really excited to see who they bring on. Something we'll talk about in a bit. But Hawkman's also another one who. He's kind of got two iterations, so to speak. I think the main one is that he's a reincarnated prince, like Egyptian prince. He's got like these like, fuck. I almost said he's got the touch, he's got the power, and I still said it.
Yep, it still came in.
Still, damn it. All right.
All right, we got out your system.
Oh, yeah, I got it out. I got a little Stan Bush flair for you people. Yeah. But. Yeah, so he's got the touch, he's got the power. He's like a reincarnated prince. But then the other aspect of it is that he's from Thanagar. He's an alien. So that's another way of how you can go more into the sort of cosmic element of the DCU by exploring Thanagar. All the Justice League animated series fans would know that they had the great, I believe it was called Starcross, where it was like a multi-episode part where pretty much Thanagar came to Earth and wreaked havoc. And it was like a big war, and Hawkgirl was like torn between the two. So yeah, Cyclone and no, there's oh my god, I can't with these fucking music.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I almost
don't do it.
Moves her body like a cyclone. A cyclone and Atom Smasher.
Yes.
Obviously, we already spoken about Atom Smasher, how we're not too familiar with him. But Cyclone's another one that I'm not too familiar with. But it would be fun to see because we've gotten some live action versions of Red Tornado. Because I don't know if you know, Cyclone is Red Tornado's granddaughter.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so we've gotten some kind of already iterations of Red Tornado in the CW shows, and now we're going to get Cyclone on movies, which is fun.
Right, and then obviously in this Black Adam panel, Adam Smasher himself, Noah Centineo, kind of came on and talked with The Rock a little bit, talked about training, which of course they had to work weightlifting in there somehow.
They had to do it,
which was great.
And props to him though, he looks great.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome, and yeah, so this definitely has, I think I always kind of figured that this movie was gonna be big, but I didn't think it was going to have what this whole thing kind of gave me was the sense of scale that this movie's going to be on, and especially like when they talked about Black Adam's origins, how he was a slave and everything.
Oh,
and just
good thing you brought that up with Kandak.
Yeah,
because
right.
Kandak is that whole it sounds like they're going to go into Kandak a lot, which is like a part from Egypt, if I'm not mistaken. And when he first gets the power from the wizard, he kind of at first he's like a good person, like doing the right stuff, and then I believe he overtakes a pharaoh.
Yes,
he uses the power to overtake a pharaoh and become like ruler of the world.
Right,
and then that's when the wizard's like, "All right, bro, you gotta get the fuck out of here," and then he banishes him for like thousands of years. Right. So you right there you have it in your pocket, like, okay, when Shazam was happening, Black Adam was banished.
He was still trapped.
And now he'll come back at some point.
And what was cool is this also confirmed that the wizard from Shazam is coming back, who is
Djimon Hounsou.
And
what other great movies he in?
Gladiator?
No. 2009, I believe. Think Later.
Never Back Down.
Yes.
Breathe.
And who else is in Never Back Down?
Mira,
Amber herself, a little DCU connection, baby.
There you go.
Defense got the reference.
But yeah, so I am excited for this. I am excited for this because, you never know what you're gonna get with The Rock and everything, but I feel like this is gonna have, it's gonna have such a grander scale, and I think it's gonna be a really nice tie-in to Shazam 2, and I think it's gonna be cool, man.
Me too. And I'm also when I was like watching the concept art and I was listening to him talk about Kandak, Apocalypse is not the greatest movie. X-Men Apocalypse is not the greatest movie, but I really did enjoy those opening sequences when they were like in ancient Egypt. Mm-hmm. So like I would be I'm excited to explore more of that because the way I think about it, we don't really get you know me, bro. I'm all about my nature.
Right.
All about my nature.
Yes.
So we don't really get much sort of desert and Egypt in like outside of Star Wars, obviously.
Right.
We don't really get that in superhero films that much. So I'm excited to kind of see it explore a little bit here.
Yes, this definitely kind of showed a different landscape for a superhero movie.
Yeah, give us something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
because it's going to change the game, bro. It's going to change the game.
The DC hierarchy is about to change.
Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
All right, well, speaking of Shazam, let's move on to Shazam 2, which had it was a fun panel. They did confirm that Shazam 2 is going to be called Fury of the Gods, which is a pretty intense title for Shazam.
A mouthful too.
Dude, did you see they had Sinbad on?
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. I hope he's in the movie.
Well, he's on the poster.
I know he's on the poster. I hope he's in the movie. That would be awesome if he showed up for whatever reason.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Bro, get crazy. Bring in Shaquille O'Neal as Kazam. Yeah. Go nuts, bro. Bring all the gods, all the lightning wizards.
Well, there's that whole the Mandela effect that he was in a movie, that Sinbad was in a wizard movie, and apparently it doesn't exist, but people believe it exists.
What was the Sinbad movie? Where he was the wizard.
It was Shazam, I think. It was people think it's Shazam, but there is no movie.
Well, why am I picturing? Maybe I'm just
dude. That's what it is.
Maybe I'm crossing Shaquille O'Neal and Sinbad in my brain.
No, but there's this. They call it the Mandela effect, and people like swear that Sinbad did a wizard movie like Kazam or Shazam, and
I'm definitely picturing Sinbad in like a costume.
Yes, with the
with the hat and like big jumper pants.
Never happened.
What?
Yes, never happened. Look it up.
Maybe it was a glitch in the Matrix.
Right, that's what I'm thinking,
Bro, a little trivia for you.
Or it's the multiverse.
A little trivia for you. Yeah, true. What was the kid's last wish in Kazam?
Dude, I don't even remember.
Oh, come on!
I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure I saw that in theaters nonetheless, but I don't remember anything about that movie.
It was hot chocolate. And then he gets it.
Speaking of which, I could sure use a nice hot cup of chocolate.
Anyway, what did you think of the Shazam 2 panel?
I mean, okay. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And I loved that they just kept teasing Superman.
Yes.
Which, that's something that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, going back to Black Adam.
Yeah, going to Black Adam, same thing. They kept teasing him, and we said this before of how not only are mustaches and kryptonite Superman's biggest weakness, but magic is as well. So that's how you can have. That's why Shazam and Black Adam are a few people that can go toe to toe with Superman.
Right.
And something else, just real quick, that I want to mention for Black Adam is that it's supposed to come out next year in December.
Yeah.
We're in the tail end of 2020.
I know.
They don't have.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to get pushed. It'll probably get pushed to summer 2022.
Unless they already have some casting and they start shooting within the next 2 months, and
right.
maybe. But yeah, I think that next December release date is a long shot. But going back to the Shazam panel, yeah, I loved how they were. I just loved the fun and the banter between the cast. I loved that they kept teasing Superman. I don't know if you went when they asked Zachary Levi he's going to be in it. He goes, and then they cut away. Yeah. So I was like, so they were just having fun with it. And Shazam is my favorite DCEU movie. I think that that to me feels like the most complete movie. Mm-hmm. That feels like from start to finish, like they had a vision. They went with it. Wonder Woman, same thing. It's a complete movie as well with a clear vision from the director, but I had issues with the third act. Mm-hmm. I think Shazam just all around was just like a fun, lighthearted movie, and I think that's what it was going for, and I think it was executed properly. So I like that one the most, and yeah, I'm excited to see more of it.
Yeah, definitely, and I would agree with you. I think Shazam is kind of like the most complete DC movie, even though it might not be my personal favorite. But the thing I am excited about is I think with Shazam, as you're watching it, you could tell that it's one of the more lower budget DC films.
Absolutely.
So I am excited to see, and I think even David Sandberg, he even mentioned this too, that if there's one thing that he wanted with the first Shazam was more time.
I wish we had more time.
Mm-hmm. So I think with this, they're taking a little bit more time to develop. Although I do think, did they say when they're going to start shooting the second one?
I can't remember.
I think it's going to be early next year.
You possibly. Were on vacation, so I watched it a week ago. So you fucked everything up.
Awesome. But I think they're going to start shooting soon. But I think that was one of the things is he said he wanted more time, and I think he wanted to do more time with the effects as well. So I think this movie's going to have a higher budget. And especially that now they're going to connect it more with Black Adam, which I know is going to have a huge budget just by looking at some of that concept art. So I want to see what they do with more resources, I guess you could say. Right,
because another thing that we always kind of harness back to is like when you're a lower budget, you kind of force yourself to be more story driven.
Yes.
And clearly it was. Like another thing too, not to get off topic, but we do that here. But like I also feel like Man of Steel, like being the first film out of the gate, that also felt like a really complete film. But again, I just had some issues with the storytelling. But it was Zack Snyder's vision.
Yeah. It
was their like kind of their story. Yes. It was executed, but again, just some things didn't work.
No, yeah.
For me.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you can always tell when a movie has a very clear vision.
Yeah.
Especially with DC.
And I would say that Man of Steel, maybe BVS, I don't know. Actually, no, not BBS, because I think the whole Justice League kind of stuff got shoehorned.
That was definitely shoehorned. That was definitely one of those studio
I think
meddling.
Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, and Shazam are like the most complete visions and like one of the most complete films that were from the DCU.
And we will get into it when we eventually talk to the Snyder Cut. But I definitely, after seeing that trailer, I feel like I now have an idea of how many more movies were affected by the whole and because this is going to lead into Aquaman 2. Mm-hmm. I really feel like that Aquaman 1 was really heavily affected by...
And I said that a gazillion times.
You did say that,
yeah. The second I saw the trailer, I'm like, there's no way this was the original movie. There was no fucking way.
Yeah. All right, after that little bit of a rough transition by me, we're now going to jump into Aquaman 2, which I love the notes here. Literally nothing. The only thing we got, which I liked, was James Wan kind of reiterated that he's going to bring more horror elements into it and that it's going to be more serious.
Yeah.
Which I like. Mm-hmm. Because even though I am a fan of Aquaman 1, it's very much like...
I love Aquaman 1.
I do too. But it's very much a 1980s like action movie, like tongue-in-cheek cheesy with like, 2020 special effects.
And stupid Pitbull
songs. It's kind of, I mean, the movie, for as much as it works, the movie's kind of a mess.
It is.
Yeah, it's very much a mess.
Like, but because there are people who hate the movie.
I know.
And I get it. I totally understand it. But for me... Aquaman is my Aquaman is my favorite character in the comic books. Like I think he's my favorite character in the comics. Batman is obviously my favorite character, but a lot of just seeing him brought to life and just so badass. Like no one's gonna make jokes about Aquaman riding a seahorse ever again.
No.
You know, so like there was just so much that I just loved about the movie. So I am a little biased, but yeah, it is definitely
it's also probably my favorite third act in like a DC movie. I think. Like, I love that third act.
It's just popcorn.
Yes,
just double 2 buckets, nachos, a large drink, just stuff your face. Bro.
And it's done so well. And like you have this
and
this
the CG
massive,
is incredible.
The CG is really good.
Yeah, the fact that I know James Wan was pissed that he didn't get nominated, and rightfully so, man, because it's so good.
Yeah. It is really good. But yeah, so other than that, I think it's still set for December 2022. Although I am curious to see if that changes because I think that's when Avatar 2 is supposed to come out now.
And those underwater effects are going to
be insane.
Shit,
I know.
All over Aquaman. What's going to happen?
Well, maybe by Aquaman 2, they'll look a little bit better.
Nah, bro. James Cameron is literally going to go frame and like render the shit out of every single frame in that movie, and it's just going to.
That's what I mean. I feel like Aquaman 2 should delay a year just so they could see what James Cameron doesn't have to do.
I would, if they do, let's play hypotheticals like we like to do here. If they for some reason did do that, be like, all right, look, let's wait a little bit and let's see how we can possibly use the technology that Cameron created to maybe better the movie. I would say good for you.
Yeah.
I would be all about that. But yeah, one thing though, it's and shout out to the Arnies because they also did a DC FanDome show and it was really good. I really enjoyed listening to it. But they made this mention, and where was Jason Momoa? We literally got every single Justice League member,
but Momoa.
I
don't know. I know after it was done, like I know he was talking about it. He was talking about the Snyder Cut. Like he was tweeting about it. He was putting a post about it.
But you know that Ben Affleck message was for like 3 months ago, probably. Well, not literally, but yeah.
But well, I mean that's the thing. If you were watching DC, it was like even though it was a fantastic event, the editing wasn't so great on some of the panels because you could easily tell that they tried to fudge it as if they were all there talking to each other.
Very Justice League with the haircut type of editing. Yeah.
But you know, someone would ask a question and then there'd be this awkwardly long pause, and then someone would answer the question, and it's like, all right, you guys aren't really there talking to each other. Let's get real here. But
it's like let me watch the message. Like like when you get like those like moms and dads when they're like reading their phone and they got their eyes looking up and they're like looking at their phone like this. Yeah, that's literally how sometimes when like they were cut to Snyder, he was just like, like let me watch this message. But yeah, I just don't like. Yeah, I thought it was weird.
It definitely was a little weird, considering the fact they had like everybody, not even just Justice League, but just like all aspects of it.
Because Momoa is just that guy. Like I was expecting some video of him like on a motorcycle, like
bringing his energy, or something.
Bringing the energy, like riding on a fucking motorcycle in the desert, like Snyder Cut, baby, like just some crazy shit.
That now that you mention it, it's very strange.
And it's like that's just an opportunity that I don't think someone like him, given everything we've gotten from him, would pass up on. So I just thought that was weird.
I'm gonna do a few moments later thing right now.
A little Google machine.
I wanna do some little half-assed internet research right now.
A few moments later.
Yeah, so after doing a little bit of research, there's no mention as to why, just that people are very curious as to how.
Especially how much he loves Zack.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just found it really strange.
Yeah, that is strange. Interesting. All right, but anyway. Let's move on. We're gonna go over to the Flash movie panel, which was a lot of fun to watch.
My first mind blown of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got Ezra Miller, fresh off his punching,
fresh off his RKOing
fans, was there. So I'm guessing that's all resolved since they're moving forward.
Well,
with him.
I figured it's been resolved for a while. You know what's really funny too? Because I was watching it with my brother, and he told me he said that, and my brother's not like the biggest. My brother is definitely a general audience.
Doesn't know a lot behind the scenes kind of stuff.
And he told me, he's like, are you still keeping Flash? Are you still keeping Ezra Miller even though he punched that fan? I'm like, oh, so like...
So you do know.
Yeah, so I always use like my family as a litmus test, like to see like what they hear, what they know, how familiar they are with like whatever movies coming out.
Right.
So yeah, that to me just pretty much said that it was pretty big news, obviously. Yes. So... But yeah, I guess they're coming.
He's there.
He's been there for a while, and I guess...
Yeah. The other thing too was director Andy Muschietti, which I think for years I've been saying is Muschietti, but it's Muschietti. That's how you properly pronounce it.
Guillermo says Muschietti.
Does he really?
Well, he's Spanish.
Okay.
And he's Spanish. So,
well, I knew that, but like it was weird how they kept like Ezra Miller said Muschietti, the panel guy who was in charge said Muschietti. So
well, no, because you know me, I'm an interview slut.
Yes.
I love listening to talks, and Guillermo's talked about Muschietti many times, and he's always said Muschietti.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right, so we'll go off Guillermo then.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Guillermo.
¿O tienes alguien como Andy Muschietti? que tiene con un gran talento.
So they discussed kind of what we're going to be getting in the film, you know, pretty much stuff that we already knew about how it was going to really open up the multiverse. They discussed that a little bit, and they talked about how, you know, it's going to be dealing with obviously Barry going back in time to try to save his mom. And then we get this awesome, fantastic concept art. The first one was kind of his new suit, which we don't get completely. It's, you know, held in shadows a little bit. You just get, you know, some of the red. And then we get this fantastic image of Barry in front of Keaton's Batman.
Ready to take out some criminals.
Yes.
And it's in the classic Keaton pose. Like, when I saw that pose, I'm like, that is the Keaton pose.
And it looked the classic Batman suit.
Yeah. I mean, well, it was mostly faded out, but in terms of like silhouette, definitely like the classic Batman suit. Because I always say, I've said this a gazillion times. Gazillion times. Batman, some of the most iconic Batman images of all time are the silhouette.
Yes.
That's why I compare him a lot to Michael Myers, because Michael Myers is known as the shape.
Right.
And that's a whole other conversation I could talk about forever, but I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, that silhouette with the hands up, the ears, the big flowing cape.
That nice little yellow symbol on his chest.
I literally screamed, and Kylo was sleeping next to me.
Just pop right up.
I was like, oh my God. He just like popped up. He's like, what the fuck happened? I was like, my bad. It was really funny because I was like watching and he just did not care.
Yeah.
Because I like talked to him, I'm like, bro, look at this. And he's just like, fuck you, I'm going to sleep.
Bro, let me outside.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta go take a shit. But yeah, I and something, actually a few things that are interesting here. For starters, I love the suit. To go back to, it has more of like an organic sort of like CW TV feel.
Which I think we assume that we would get to that point.
Because I like the Injustice armored suit in Justice League.
Right. But like I like the origin of it. It's like, you know, Barry built it from, you know, parts of a spaceship. Like that's how he created the suit.
And realistically it makes sense because of the friction, all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so I enjoyed seeing that, and I'm happy to see this now sort of more traditional. I like the ears that they had.
Yep.
And it's sort of more like organic mesh sort of type of suit that we're gonna get.
I think they even said too that you're gonna see the electricity flowing through.
Oh, they're gonna see something else.
The suit. Well, the big thing that was really cool, and I'm curious to see what you think. They confirmed that the suit's gonna be built by Batman. Yes! But we don't know which Batman. Is it Affleck's Batman or is it Keaton's Batman?
Who knows? I don't care. It's still awesome. I don't care I don't care if it's Affleck or Keaton. I don't care.
Don't care. Still don't care. I don't care.
The fact that Wayne is using his resources very Iron Man-esque.
Yes.
Because he built Peter's suit.
Right.
The fact that it's going to be something along like that, where he's saying like, all right, look, I got the resources, I got the money, I got the touch, I got the power. Yeah! I'm going to give you your suit.
Dude, we've come back around to that way too many times today.
Bro, I mean, look, I'll go back to 80s, is it 80s? I'm not sure, but I'll go back to 80s Transformers all the time. But yeah, the fact that, like, because that also, that gives it, because we always say, like, how the fuck did Peter always build it? Like, we know Peter's a tech head.
Yes.
But could you really build that?
Yeah,
I don't know,
really
Peter.
Yeah.
I don't know. But just having someone like Tony who has the resources and the money to build in the suit, that makes more sense to me. And the fact that we're getting that here again, like, yeah, like yes. Give me all of it.
And the other cool thing too was I like that as much as this is going to be Flash's own movie, they're really going to play heavily into his relationship with Bruce Wayne, whether it be Affleck's Bruce Wayne or, you know, and Keaton's Bruce Wayne. Like, it's going to be both. And I do like that. It's going to have that mentorship. And I'm excited, man. This to me is real. This is really going to be the kickoff.
We could potentially see.
Well, I was going to say, but this Flash movie is going to be the kickoff to the new DC.
I know I cut you off, but we could potentially see Batfleck, Keaton, and Flash just fighting.
Yes.
And I'm going to scream. I scream in theaters. I don't care. Nick has witnessed it
multiple times.
If we get that, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, and I'm just gonna like go nuts, and I can't wait to get. But there was no official confirmation of Keaton coming back.
There wasn't.
I'm just going to assume that he is. Yeah. Because I mean, I think that concept art is pretty much confirmation.
They keep saying it too.
Yeah, but like, just give me the fucking. Give me the official announcement.
That's the thing. I was really hoping we would have gotten like a video message from Keaton. Obviously, we didn't get that, but I'm assuming talks are still ongoing. Maybe that's why, and they're just like, just in case it falls apart, like, we're not going to.
It doesn't matter. You already teased us with that glorious concept art tip.
Yes.
Now I want the whole thing.
I want the whole thing.
I want it all.
And with that, we're going to move on to Wonder Woman 1984. So this was the first panel of DC FanDome, and they kind of just talked more about the movie, how excited they are for it to come out. But the main hook of it was they debuted the brand new trailer, and we got a first look at Cheetah in all of her CG glory. And I got to be honest, there were some mixed reactions to it. The fact that we got to see it in motion, it was also in shadows, which I think helps a little bit with the CG, that it's not in like full-blown daylight. I honestly think that this is probably the best we could have hoped for with this being CG. I thought it looked good. I mean, it's not like it's like the greatest rendering of all time, but I thought it looked fine. And I think it also confirmed that we're probably not going to get Cheetah like in full-blown Cheetah mode until the very, very end, because they showed Kristen Wiig kind of fighting Diana like in the White House and a couple other things, and she looks good.
I love Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, and they kind of showed her having like those physical attributes, just in human form.
Somewhat enhanced.
Yes.
Somewhat enhanced.
Yes, and she wants to be an apex predator.
I don't want to be like anyone. I want to be an apex predator.
It's really funny because again, I was watching with my brother, and he was like, I can't take her serious because again, he's general audience. He hasn't seen movies like Skeleton Twins or Mother.
Yes.
I think Mother, she's only in it for maybe like 15, 20 minutes. But I remember watching Mother, and I'm like, this woman can act. Like she can do serious, disturbing, dark roles, like for sure. Skeleton Twins is a little bit more lighthearted.
Yes. Even The Martian too.
Yes.
More dramatic role in The Martian.
Look at you, Nicholas. Yeah. Look at you. But he was like, I can't take her seriously. I just look at her and I just think, help me, I'm poor.
We're going to a restaurant tonight. I know the owner, so I was just telling.
Do? Oh, Helen is the owner.
I was like, yeah, but I was like, all right, well, I mean, look, I'm not going to tell you. I'm never going to recommend Mother. Actually, I'll probably recommend Mother to some people, but most uncomfortable viewing experience I've ever had in the movie theater. I will never watch that movie ever again. But I know what she's capable of. I'm excited to see what she's going to bring to this. I love the little, to me, like the little snippets of them fighting in what kind of looks like the White House. Yeah. I'm not really sure.
Hey, I don't know what's going on there.
They're in Washington, so I'm not really sure exactly. It's some sort of landmark or monument that they're fighting in.
Yeah.
But that kind of, that to me was more exciting than the final kind of CG. And yeah, I agree with you, but I also don't, because Wonder Woman I had a lot of issues with the Wonder Woman CG in the first one. I remember when the first trailer came out, I had some similar, like when she takes off her wings, it just looks weird, the way it's like dissolving.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe it's just the CG department. I don't know if it's like the CG team on Wonder Woman, but it feels to me like they're making the same mistakes that they made in the first one. And I'm with you. It's not the best, but I think it looks fine.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like it's one of those things where it could look really bad, and I don't think it does.
But just given rendered hair and like obviously with the Apes movies, like we know what can be achieved.
Yes. So
why isn't that being done here? That's what I just don't understand.
I don't know. It's like you said. It could be the visual effects team that goes behind it. I don't know if it's one of those things where, obviously the movie's supposed to come out in June and it's been sitting on the shelf waiting to come out. Hopefully it's in October. It might not be still, which would be disappointing. But it could just be that they finished it and they're like, yeah, it's good, and it's just sat there. And
if you didn't take time to touch it up, granted we don't know what situations with COVID. Yeah. But if you were able to possibly touch it up and you didn't, that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake on your end.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree, because you've had this time, and it could just be that with COVID maybe they couldn't organize enough. You know what I mean? But if you I agree. If you had the time, you should have worked on it.
Yeah, because
to make it the best it could be. Or we don't know. This could be a trailer that they had cut months ago and they've been working on it, but this is just what they showed us. You know what I mean? So this could be an old trailer, but not reflecting on what the newer renderings look like.
We'll see, because that was probably my biggest issue with Wonder Woman. Some of the CG was just not great. Yeah, and I just really hope. I remember when I first saw the trailer. Like I said, we got a little bit of that, and I was just like, I really hope they don't make the same mistake on this one. Yeah. And then we got this trailer, and I'm like, fuck. Yeah. I hope not still, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. But I did like the trailer. I think I like the first trailer more.
I like the first trailer way more, even though I really did like this trailer.
Yeah, I did like this trailer too. But yeah, the first trailer, the way it was just edited and using Blue Monday, which was really cool. So Yeah, but either way, we're really excited for this. Can't wait for it to finally come out. Hopefully it does come out in October. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to reach our final rapid fire topic, even though these really haven't been rapid fire. Before we get to our main topics, we're going to talk about some of the video games that also debuted at DC FanDome, one of them being Gotham Knights, and then Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So really excited for both of these, actually. Gotham Knights obviously is being developed by WB Montreal, who did Arkham Origins. And you could tell that they're not on the same level as Rocksteady when it comes to its look and kind of like the graphics. Obviously, Rocksteady had done all the trilogy of Arkham games: Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. And now they're doing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But for Gotham Knights, I thought it was cool. Little disappointed that Batman is supposedly dead, even though I don't buy that he's dead. There's no way he's dead because this game is kind of bringing in the Court of Owls as kind of like the overall villain of the story. And I want it to be Batman going up against them, but we'll see how this all kind of plays in. But it is cool that this is more of a co-op game and you're playing as Robin, Batgirl, Red Hood, and Nightwing. So I do like that aspect. And they did show about 7 minutes of gameplay where they're going after Mr. Freeze.
It's focused on Batgirl.
And it was cool. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to play.
I'm with you. It kind of, sort of seems like it's picking up right from Arkham Knight.
It actually is not. This one is not connected to the Arkhamverse, whereas Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm with you. If you have look, no offense, but if you have a video game with the Court of Owls and you don't have the ability of playing as Batman to fight the Court of Owls, that's a mistake.
That's what I mean.
You've dropped the ball on that one. That's just how I personally see it. I do not play that many video games.
But you have played the Arkham
But
games.
I played all the Batman games because I'm a Batman slut, fanatic, fangirl for life, baby. So I played all those. I'm with you. Origins to me just felt so out of place.
Because W Montreal is not to bag on them because they do a good job, but they are a company that doesn't have as many resources as someone like Rocksteady does.
But I'm just talking about like in terms of like, for example, some of the technology and some of like the detective mode and shit that you were doing in Arkham Origins. I just didn't like that. Just seemed more advanced than some of the stuff in the first two games.
Yeah,
so it just that's what I mean. Stuff just kind of fell out of place. They didn't really like. It didn't really feel like an origin.
I'm really happy that you mentioned that too. Yeah, because they did introduce some newer features that ended up being used in Arkham Knight, like even to a more extent. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, he didn't have this in the first two games, so why is he having this here? Yeah. But I will play this. I'm excited to play. We got to talk about who you want to play as. I know, yeah.
But I thought the trailer was fun. I love the video game trailers that they've released for all the movies. Despite the fact that Arkham Origins is probably my least favorite game, I think their trailer is probably the best one.
Oh, by far.
When's him versus Deathstroke,
which is directed by
Tim Miller.
Yep.
And was it Blur Studios? Is his?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the trailer a gazillion times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this trailer was fun. I'm excited to get a little bit more information on it. And just seeing the Court of Owls again just made me that much more excited for a possible live action version of them.
Which we will discuss. I have thoughts about that.
Okay. They're just creepy, and the way they played them up in this trailer, which is fun to see.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at, like, as far as who I want to play as the most, definitely Nightwing. That's for me.
I was gonna say, for me, it's either Nightwing or and watching Batgirl in that gameplay looked fun. But I am excited to play as Nightwing, and I am excited to play as Red Hood. Mm-hmm. So I do think that's going to be cool. And then jumping over to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, obviously this game is a little bit further off than Gotham Knights. I believe Gotham Knights is coming out in 2021. Kill the Justice League comes out in 2022. So all we really got was just this giant cutscene kind of introducing us to some of the Suicide Squad members that we're going to play as. Specifically Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn, King Shark, and Deadshot. Those are going to be like kind of the four that I think that we're going to be able to play as, and we kind of basically just got a sense of what the story is. Brainiac has taken over Metropolis. We're guessing, obviously he has Superman under his control, and probably a lot of other members of the Justice League, considering it's called Kill the Justice League. And then we got that confirmation that it is part of the Arkhamverse. This takes place after Arkham Knight, so I don't know where Batman's going to be. I'm assuming that Batman is not under Brainiac's control and he's going to kind of be like underground somewhat. That'd be awesome. So he might join up with the Suicide Squad to help them defeat Brainiac. And so I mean, it looked cool. Like I said, like in terms of the graphics, you could tell this is already being developed for the next gen console, so PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, but it's like you said, it's just a cutscene.
Yeah, it's basically just one giant cutscene. So all we got was a sense of the story, but it looks fun. And playing as Suicide Squad I think is going to be a lot of fun.
And it looks like we get the similar technology because, for example, in Captain Boomerang, he's like using his boomerang to almost teleport or like time jump.
Yeah.
And we got the same thing with Gotham Knights. It seems like Tim, wherever he's doing is also kind of some sort of teleporting like space jumping or something like that.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see.
So I guess there might be some sort of connection there between the two.
Right. But these look great and they look like there'll be a lot of fun to play and can't wait till they come out.
I can't wait to. Dude, there was something badass like got me hyped. Just seeing King Shark wheeling like a fucking
like minigun or something.
Yeah, it was like
or
Predator.
whatever it was. Yeah.
It was like Predator, but just with King Shark and this was a kind of more different version of. I can't wait to talk about King Shark.
I know.
I cannot wait. But this was like this is more of like a intellectual kind of take on the character.
Yes.
And more sort of humanoid. Like the head was a little bit smaller, kind of like more broader shoulders. It wasn't as like shark.
Yes. As
we'll get to in Suicide Squad. But yeah, they both looked fun.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now that you mentioned King Shark, we're going to move on to our main topics. And first up is going to be The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn.
The Suicide
Squad, directed by James Gunn, comes out next August. And we got all kinds of stuff. Confirmation of characters, who people are playing in the movie, as well as this really awesome behind the scenes, like it's like a 2.5 minute video where it's kind of a mixture of the behind the scenes of them filming, as well as a little bit of actual like film footage, which is really cool. So of all this that we got, Martin, what was your biggest takeaway? And I think I kind of already know what you're talking about.
King Shark, come on! How can you not? When he flashed on us and he's like smiling and waving, I was like, oh my God.
I immediately, and we were tweeting about this too, I immediately thought of Harley Quinn.
And I think he's wearing a bathing suit.
I think so too, yeah.
And I tweeted out to James Gunn. He didn't see my tweet because he was busy. It's okay. I understand.
We forgive you, James Gunn.
Yeah, we forgive you, James.
I forgive you.
But I was like, is he wearing a bathing suit? And like, it just, I was really interested to see their sort of take on this because obviously it's a movie, they got the money. So like, what are you going to do? Like we said before, I think CW did a really, the Flash, the CW TV Flash did a really great job with the effects for King Shark and the design. It was like a legit shark. It had like the big body design, like a great white. I was kind of hoping they would go away from the great white since we've already seen it and maybe go up more like Hammerhead.
The Hammerhead, right.
But they're like, nah, fuck you. We're going to stick with the great white, which is fine. But it looks like, it just looks like a shark.
Yes.
It's not because like I'm saying, like the Flash is more like, it's got like more like muscular in depth and kind of like has more like more texture, so to speak.
Yes.
It's like a more like a rigid sort of character design. This is just like a straight up just like shark
with arms and legs.
Yeah. Almost like as if you bought like a blow up like for your pool.
Yeah.
You build like a blow up shark inflatable and you blew it up. This is that, but just more rendered, like, with a little bit more with more texture. And when I saw, I was like, yes.
Yeah. I was like no, this makes sense.
There's literally like with that quick snippet of when he grabs the person and he like, he's gonna very Harley Quinn is. Yeah. Bro, every single time I see that in Harley Quinn, I fucking die.
Dude, that's what cracks me up too. Is when we're watching the show and like King Shark actually acts like a shark and it just cracks you up every single time.
It kills me. It takes me out every fucking time.
Harley, thank you for letting me use my brains for once. Most people don't let me be who I am. Okay, I see what we're working with here.
But just seeing him do that, and then like when we got the still, it was literally like, I know I've said this a million times, but it was just a shark.
Yes.
And with like fucking, I believe it was bathing suit or shit. I don't know, but I'm like,
I love the smiling wave though.
The smiling wave is the best thing ever, and I'm just like, oh, I cannot wait for this movie. I was already through the roof for this movie, but this is what I was looking forward to the most, seeing the King Shark design, and it was completely what I did not expect, and it almost looks cheap.
Yeah.
but it works. And I'm just like, I love it. I'm like, this is way better than anything I wanted.
And that's the thing that got me about this too is the costumes. They don't shy away from trying to make these costumes look real or like kind of like ground them in any sense. Like David Dastmalchian, like the polka dot suit, like it's a straight up. It looks like Polka Dot Man.
It's almost like it's almost like a handmade. It's almost like cosplay, like expensive cosplay.
Expensive
so
cosplay, and seeing John Cena's Peacemaker, like that costume is ridiculous looking, but like it all works.
He's just so big that it's so funny. Yes. Like when he's sitting there, like, look, I love John Cena.
Yeah.
I love John Cena. I know people have issues with him as an actor. I think he's, I love him in like everything that he's been in. I think he's hilarious. He cracks me up. And just seeing him there talking about the movie, like I was already happy for him to be in this, but he just looks weird.
Yes.
Because he's like almost too big.
Yes.
And he's wearing this like ridiculous costume, and you're just like this, but everything just feels right.
It does.
Everything just looks weird and off and crazy and ridiculous, but it all feels right.
Definitely. And we got confirmation who Idris Elba's playing. He's playing Bloodsport. I know for like the longest time people thought he was like Bronze Tiger or something, but he is playing Bloodsport.
Possibly taking over as which I still believe that he was originally going to take over Deathshot,
and then they changed it.
And then Will Smith was like, maybe
I'll
Will Smith, I don't know what you're doing, Brad. Like I do not know what you're doing. Why you didn't want to come back? I don't get it.
This is another miss, man.
Another thing that we talk about all the time, bro. Like you're literally just like
no, he's got to go do Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
So stupid.
I know.
Like, why didn't you come back for this? But he'll kick himself over this later.
But Idris Elba looks awesome.
Yeah, he looks awesome.
And then I really like Harley Quinn's look.
I love Harley Quinn's look. I think she looks very much like, was it Arkham City? The Arkham City game.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she looks. I love the leather, the pigtails. I love the goggles, the bazooka.
Yeah.
I think she looks incredible. This is by far my favorite Harley Quinn look that we've gotten so far in live action. And just the cast interactions that we got when they were playing that game, it was literally like this. It was just a dumb game.
Yeah.
But I just love how they were all shitting on Rooker.
Yeah.
And like and Michael, like we love Michael Rooker. I mean, who doesn't love Michael Rooker? I mean, come on, like the guy's just incredible. And
I'm so happy he's in this too.
Yeah,
I'm so happy he's in this.
He's gonna be in it. Sean Gunn is gonna be in
Weasel,
it.
Which looked weird. Like
Screen Thrill did an amazing meme. It was like me in January 2020, like me now, and it's like a picture of Rocket.
Yeah,
and a picture of Weasel. It was so good. But yeah, James Gunn talked about how we can't wait to see him in action, and he's gonna fuck people up.
Oh yeah,
like you just know, like he's got this. Yeah. He's going to like wrap around, go around people, like bite them, fuck them up like crazy, and dude, this movie's gonna be incredible.
It's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be incredible.
And I
just know it.
I love how they described it as like a 1970s like war movie.
Yeah,
and like a throwback to that, but just with all these crazy characters. And I love all the stuff I've been reading about James Gunn saying how much fun this movie was, especially like him saying he was doing more of a practical aspect on this movie after coming off of doing such CG heavy Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think you saw a lot of how practical it was, how on location they were, the explosions and everything. So that looks really cool. And just him in general, I think he said his favorite character to write in this movie was Harley Quinn. So I'm excited to see what he does with that.
He related the most to Polka Dot Man.
Yes.
Which we hear the David Dastmalchian praise or speak over and over again. And this is what now, like, he's on this. He was also
Ant-Man,
in Ant-Man. He was in Dark Knight.
Blade Runner.
No, I'm talking about in terms of superhero movies.
Oh, superhero movies, okay.
This, Ant-Man, Dark Knight. He was in it for
but just in terms of like just nerd culture in general.
Yeah,
just all
but
the movies
these are all just like these like sort of small roles that he just like he's amazing.
Yeah, he's really good.
Like slowly becoming one of my favorite actors. And he's becoming that name that when he joins a cast, I get excited for.
Yeah.
And yeah, even when you were talking about the whole more practical effect, even when you see Boomerang throw the boomerang, it's almost like a lit up, whether they're using that as a reference for like CG or whatever it is.
Right.
The fact that he's actually throwing a boomerang.
Yes.
Just it gives it almost like a physical aspect and like science and physics of how it's going to properly travel. And one more thing too that it's probably not one more thing. I'm probably gonna say something else. I don't know. Who knows? But kudos to them for keeping this under wraps.
Yeah.
Because this was clearly a massive production.
Right.
And we literally, aside from, I believe it was a Central American country where we got the John Cena on the streets, like a little BTS footage. But aside from like that and some behind the scenes photos, we literally got nothing of that we saw. Yeah, so they did a really good job of keeping the whole production under wraps.
Especially with Idris Elba's character, because you thought that would have been spoiled as to who he was like a long time ago. And like I remember James Gunn tweeting out like right before DC FanDome happened, he's like, I've seen all these guesses for who Idris Elba is, nobody's guessed it correctly. And
that's like what we were saying when they first released the Batman costume. It was like Reeves did that intentionally, knowing that there was probably going to be some leaks. Yes. And long and behold, a few days later, they leaked the shots of him in the cemetery.
Yep.
Clearly, they were confident enough that they were going to keep everything under wraps because they kept everything a secret until now, like months after production finished. So, yeah, kudos to them.
Right. Yeah, but this is definitely exciting. Like I loved this panel. I loved everything that I saw from it. I love this cast. I love the director. I can't see this being like Suicide Squad.
And I'm so excited for the returning. First of all, Joel Kinnaman is a fucking stud.
Yeah, he is.
When he came onto the screen, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is a good looking man. But I'm so excited that he's back. Yep. I'm so excited that Jack Corney's back.
Viola Davis, Amanda Waller's coming back.
The returning characters that they got back, whether they're going to be X'd out right away or not, who knows? But it's just happy to see some of these returning cast members.
Yes, and it kind of still gives somewhat of a cohesiveness to
even though it's going to be like a reboot, it's like a sequel / reboot. But it just kind of gives it some sort of continuity for like the future of the movies.
Definitely. Okay, Martin. So these next two topics I have been absolutely itching to talk about.
Dave Chappelle,
Joe Rogan
reference.
So let's go. Snyder Cut.
Ice cream truck.
Nice. That's fine. I'm not gonna worry about the ice cream truck. Zack Snyder had his finally his big panel. Had everybody minus Jason Momoa kind of come on, do a little bit of fan questions, talked a little about the movie, and finally dropped the trailer. And I will say this. At first, after watching, I was a little disappointed because I think I expected to be like more of a story trailer, a bigger trailer. But then the more I watched it, the more I understood. First of all, this trailer is meta as hell. There's so many like things like behind, like the message behind the trailer, what's going on with the song he picked, everything about it. There's so many. It's a complex trailer for just showing images.
It's like a compilation.
Yes, it's basically a compilation showing everything that was cut. Like at least just a handful of things that were cut. And so yeah, I guess let's just jump in and start dissecting it. What'd you think?
Well, I'll talk about the panel first. Because I thought the panel, I think a lot of the panels, except for a handful of them, like the Multiverse one, the Suicide Squad, I thought a lot of them were just like fine. It was just mostly just the creators or whatever answering fan questions.
Right.
And some of them went on for a little too long. Yeah. I think the Zack Snyder one, like, he was just answering all these questions, and I'm like,
well, they had a couple like super fans come on,
yeah,
and like
I get it.
It went on for way too long.
Yeah,
and it's like,
but I get it because these are the people who essentially made this possible, so to speak. You know, so but that aside, oh no, is that a sign? Is that a sign that we shouldn't?
So if you're not watching on video,
oh boy,
Batfleck that sits next to Martin on the show just jumped off the thing.
You thinking what I'm thinking, partner? Aim for the bushes.
My my nerd excitement killed Batman.
Just killed Batman.
Oh boy! All right.
Yeah.
That's a metaphor.
That's a metaphor.
Because oh no, Selena's dying too.
Bro, have you been watering that thing?
Oh, I have been watering it. We got Batman and Selena, by the way, here, but she just lost the pedal.
Yeah. Selena's Martin's plant.
Given to us by Katie. But all right, that's a sign that Batfleck's coming back.
Yes.
So in the Snyder cut, the Snyder cut caused him to drop out.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right.
But now he's back. So that's how we'll take it. And
that's how we'll spin that one.
That's how we'll spin that one. And then we definitely got to water Selena right after this. Okay, back to it. Stay on target. The Snyder Cut trailer. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. It was really fun to see all this new footage. It kind of goes back to just a general excitement that we're getting another Justice League trailer. Mm-hmm. I expected this to be a little bit more sort of story driven, like you said. I expected this to be a lot longer. I was expecting like a 4 or 5 minute trailer. Given Snyder that he's now doing a 4-part 1 hour miniseries,
which was confirmed.
But
he's doing both, which was cool. He's doing the 4-part miniseries. Afterward, you'll be able to watch a full 4-hour cut if you'd like. And then internationally, where HBO Max is not available, they're going to do some sort of distribution plan for it.
Which is interesting. I don't know. That's a whole nother kind of business discussion of how they're going to distribute the movie overseas.
We'll probably do it in theaters, I would think.
Yeah. But it was exciting to see this sort of new footage. Essentially, like I said, it's a new Justice League trailer. I think people were talking a lot about the CG and that they felt unfinished, but this is the Zack Snyder CG. This is like his kind of, if you watch a lot of his films, whether it's BVS, whether it's Man of Steel, he has a sort of a kind of glossy, somewhat desaturated, strangely composited look when it comes to his CG. So I think, I know people are complaining about Darkseid and the Ebony Maw ripoff. I think that's finished in my opinion. I think that's really what the final shot of
well,
CG
so the Ebony Maw, that's Desaad, right?
That's how he's one of the carriers of the Mother Box.
Yes. So what I will say is that this trailer is 2 years old. He cut this 2 years ago with what he had finished already. And this was that, because remember he talked about Justice Con, how he was contemplating like sneaking into Comic-Con and just showing this trailer to Hall H.
Okay.
And so that's how old this trailer is. At least that's what I kind of got as I was reading about it. That these are images that he's had done because that was the thing that I think why I might have been a little disappointed at first is because most of the stuff that I saw I had already seen, whether it was stuff he posted on Vero or when Justice League had come out and people hated it.
Did you though? Because I felt like a lot of it was new footage.
No, don't get me wrong. A lot of it was new, but the whole scene with Cyborg, actually everything that I saw with Cyborg, Zack had shown photos of on Vero that I had seen before.
Oh, good for you.
At like everything, him in the graveyard, him at Star Labs, I had seen all that stuff. Like
his dad dying,
like that was all done. I had all seen pictures of that, but now I actually
hadn't seen that.
Okay.
So that to me was shocking. And actually adds more depth to the character.
Right, but that I had all seen. It was just cool to now see it in motion. The whole thing with Flash and Iris West, that pre-rendering had leaked years ago, so I had seen that whole scene.
Well, we saw the point.
Yes,
we've seen that before in the trailer.
But the whole him running out to the car and saving her, I had seen that already. Like
I seen the pre-rendering leak too.
Yeah, the pre-rendering leak too. So a lot of the stuff I had seen, but now we're getting to see it in motion and actually like with some sort of finished CGI and everything. And like like I said, the more times I watched it, the more times I loved it. It gets me really excited for it. So from what I gathered, this is 2 years old, so they could still be doing more CG work.
But what I'm saying is that
it looked like a Zack Snyder movie.
Yes, I'm saying for the people complaining about the CG and that's not done, like I would say just get used to it because I feel like this is kind of his style.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if literally that is the finished product.
That's what it looks like.
Because just given of what we gotten from like the CG and like I said, Man of Steel, BVS, stuff like that. So yeah.
The other thing that I loved was just everything with Superman. There's no weird upper lip, fake mustache CG kind of thing. Like him in the cornfield hugging both Amy Adams and Diane Lane. I was like, oh my god, this is
the black suit, which
awesome.
we would have not originally gotten.
Nope.
People got to keep that in mind.
We wouldn't have gotten
all
that.
The people saying like we were going in the black suit. No, you wouldn't have.
No.
We're only getting the black suit now because it's a whole different situation for many different reasons.
And he's getting to do what he wants.
Exactly.
Yes.
He already revealed at JusticeCon that he was filmed in red and blue, and he just laid the seeds in case like he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go fuck you. I'm gonna go ahead and change it. Which hey, in hindsight, it was a smart choice.
Absolutely.
Because he was able to actually go and do it, and that's why we get snippets of
of him in the suit.
In the black suit, yeah, because they were probably color grading it this whole time.
It's probably not even ready yet.
Yeah.
So like there's that one really quick shot of him and Steppenwolf coming together, which was cool. My other favorite thing was just fucking Batfleck just taking all those parademon blasts to the...
I don't know if he's got like a shield. I don't know if we're going to later add a CG sort of like shield or something.
Right.
But there's no way the gauntlets could fucking take those blasts.
Well, there's not,
unless there's something going on.
Well, that's the thing too, is because I remember reading about this like before Justice League came out, like what his tactical suit was for, and it was something that he built like in response to his weird dream in BVS and fighting Superman, and like he built like a suit that's more ready to handle.
You mean this tactical suit?
That tactical suit, just more ready to handle just otherworldly threats. And I think now we're actually going to see it on display, because we didn't fucking get it in Justice League. It's just he was in a different suit. I think now we're going to see maybe that the suit has more to offer than what we originally got. So,
but did he wear the tactical suit? Because that looks like that's a tunnel fight.
No, he does. He wears the tactical suit at the end. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it is
because that looked like it was from the tunnel fight.
Maybe.
But I could look.
Yeah,
it was everything was changed.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, what I picked up from that, I felt like that was the tunnel fight. That's what I thought. So, but look, clearly everything is different. We don't know, but whether it's some sort of enhanced absorption, kinetic energy-ish type with the gauntlet that he did, or whether we're going to add a CG. Regardless, you're seeing him eat those shots. I was like, yes,
yeah, that's fucking Batman.
Yeah, he's gonna like shake it off. Come at me, bro. Like, what else you fucking got? And I loved all the new footage. I loved what we saw between Diane Lane and Amy Adams. Like you said, all the nice Superman moments. I love the shot of Gal Gadot going to the Arrow.
Yeah,
you know, clearly like the invasion.
Well, and I was gonna say now we kind of understand her in this temple. Like now we understand.
And now she's gonna go into it.
Yes,
with the torch.
Yes.
She's gonna see it. And she's gonna be like, "Fuck."
Yes.
I'm ready to see a Lord of the Rings big fight event that
which I'm hearing is like 20 to 30 minutes long.
I'm all about it. Give me it. What else kind of stuck out? Obviously, I already spoke about Cyborg. I loved the Speed Force sort of shot.
Oh, we're getting the Speed Force.
Yeah, Zack said about how Zack Snyder said something about how we're going that he's really excited to share something from Flash that we haven't seen. So clearly, it looks like some shit's gonna go on with Flash. It looks like he still has a stupid run.
Yes.
The Conor McGregor. But
what was cool about that though, that I really liked, was when they did like the close up of him running, you saw the ground breaking as he was running, which I don't think we got in I
have to go back because I feel like maybe when they fight Superman, when he's coming around the corner, I feel like maybe, but I don't know.
But I don't even think so. But like they really like focused it on that and how like, you know, how much he's affecting the space around him as he's traveling.
I haven't seen it in a while, but
that's right. You don't have to.
Well, I mean, I had it on the other day, but I wasn't really paying attention. You know, fun story too, because I was with Chris yesterday. We were talking about there was one day we were like on the train and we were talking about just like movies, and he was like, "How many times did you see Justice League?" And I was like, I didn't want to answer it.
Yeah.
So I started like cracking up. And he's like, "Tell me, how many fucking times did you see?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Tell me." So I was like, 3 times. And he's like, 3 times? Like, you're fucking gross. And then like we were both like in the train, like in the middle of the train, just cracking up. And all these people were like looking at us like, who the fuck are these two?
Right.
But yeah, out of all those times I've seen it, I can't really remember.
Shame on you.
All the new Flash footage was fun to see, and yeah, it's I liked it, but I don't have that like
I do. I'm ready, man.
No, I mean like, you know, when the trailer was over, I didn't have that like the Batman trailer, for example.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's different. Yeah.
But still, like just seeing all the stuff, like I'm excited and I'm ready for this.
Well,
I'm so
I think
pumped.
to me this trailer felt like a big victory lap. You know,
which is probably why he's sung Hallelujah.
Well, actually, from what I'm gathering, he used Hallelujah. I mean, even though it's used in Watchmen when Night Owl and Silk Spectre kind of doing the dirty, he used it kind of more as a tribute to his daughter that passed away while he was filming Justice League, because apparently that was her favorite song. Gotcha. That's why he used it in the trailer. But that's why I said like this trailer has a lot more meaning behind it than what you might get on the surface. But it also feels like a big victory lap. Like, we're finally getting this. This is awesome. Especially like at the end when they're all fucking standing there, and it's like, oh, this is amazing. This is so fucking
Snyder
cool.
cut.
But you said with that punch, I think you get that punch when Batman's giving that little speech at the end. When Flash
I didn't get. I know you did. I didn't,
dude, bro.
I was excited, but I didn't get that like.
That just like is just like a fuck yes. I'm about to put
which
my
is
head through a
interesting
wall.
because that we kind of saw an iteration of that scene, but in this one, him and Flash are the only one in costume. Wonder Woman and Aquaman aren't.
It's cut because if you look at that scene when Flash says it, Aquaman is standing like right there in his suit.
Okay.
So it's just cut like how they do it. It's just, I guess, just showing the characters.
Right.
As if
I mean,
they're
I
like
didn't
a
have an
round table
issue
kind of
with it.
thing.
I just thought it was interesting. I thought maybe like Flash and Batman were out doing some stuff, and then they came back and met up with them.
I think it's 2 different scenes.
Okay.
I think that's what's going on there. But
Fine,
still,
regardless.
when he's just like,
I don't care how many demons he's fought and how many hells. He's never fought us. Not us united.
it was awesome. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, and there was God damn it, there was one more thing I wanted to say.
Find find it.
I forgot. Oh, the Steppenwolf design. What'd you think? Because I've told you this before. I'm not crazy about the Steppenwolf design.
I know, but I think the thing that I liked about, well, first of all, I like it way better than the original one because he looks way more fucking intimidating and scary. But the thing that I think that I liked was it's more in line with how Cyborg looks.
Yes,
so
Transformers.
there's more of this connection between them because obviously, Cyborg is brought back to life with the Mother Box.
Right.
So it feels more in line with Apocalypse and that technology and everything. So,
I agree.
So I do like that aspect.
And also when you see like the tendrils,
yes,
in that final battle, they also have that kind of look to it. Sort of like
well, we're not getting that fucking bullshit in Justice League.
No, we are.
You talk about the weird organic.
Yeah, you see it in the trailer. The tendrils, whatever it is.
No, they've asked Zack like, "Oh, you're gonna have that?" And he's like, I don't
"Bro,
know.
you can see it in the background when
that first trailer."
No, the one that we just got now. You see when Wonder Woman lands, you see in the background, and also when they punch each other, when Superman.
Well, that's inside. That's inside the ship, not the one, not the weird organic shit that's growing on the outside.
Well, I'm talking about like the things.
Oh well, yeah,
that.
Yes.
That also looks very much like Steppenwolf. So
right.
It looks like again. But yeah, to me, Steppenwolf looks like Shockwave. That's really what he looks like. But one more thing that I want to talk about, and I've mentioned this before, of how like when I had Justice League on the other day. I'm interested to see what was essentially cut out from the original cut and then what was edited to match that dialogue.
And how they reworked it.
Right, because I'm starting to think now from what we saw from Aquaman, I'm starting to think that dialogue from Mira in the original cut was actually what was shot from Zack Snyder. Mm-hmm. And then they
reshot it with Momoa to
say
whatever
like they shot exactly. That's one of the because that's what I'm excited to see of how everything's done. But that is kind of one that I'm thinking was sort of redone to match for whatever fucking reason.
Right.
To match Mira's dialogue.
Yes. And I think the thing that I'm also excited for is how much I feel like this is going to play into the Flash movie, because that fact we're going to get the Speed Force in this now. Mm-hmm. We're kind of going to be set up for it in this Flash movie. I think this is going to really like show how much this was supposed to lead into Aquaman. And, because now we're going to get Willem Dafoe.
Because he ignores the suit.
He ignores the suit and everything. Yeah. So we're really going to see how how this leads into Aquaman. And that also kind of goes back to what I was saying before about how much Aquaman, I think, was altered after they kind of redid everything. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're going to get more of a serious,
which I said,
darker Aquaman. I know you said it, bro.
Since day one. I saw that trailer. What was it, Comic-Con?
I think it was the Comic-Con
and
trailer,
I was like, "There's no fucking way this was the original plan." I just knew it.
Right.
I'm like, "No way." But yeah, I love that shot of when because we got those pictures of Volko kind of looking up and going up the steps.
Yes.
And then we get the shot of the steps of those steps again, with the suit on the floor and that really cool crab next to it.
Yeah.
So whether he rejects a suit or whatever, but it still looks like they had that bubble. Mm-hmm. So I think, I'm excited to see kind of how that was altered in a way. But yeah, I'm guessing we're gonna get everything.
We're gonna get everything.
Yeah, we're gonna get everything. So
it's 4 hours, bro.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm ready. Give this. I know they said a release date leaked, but I didn't see.
I think it got debunked. The release date that leaked said September.
Okay.
But I think it got debunked because I've been hearing that's gonna be much earlier, whether it be the springtime or like early summer.
Speaking of, I'm surprised we didn't. I know we got a lot of BTS reel for Suicide Squad, but I'm surprised we didn't get a trailer because it's only a year out.
I know. Yeah. So, I'm guessing they're holding it. Maybe they'll debut it with Wonder Woman whenever Wonder Woman comes out.
Knows? I mean, so we got a whole bunch of stuff. Can't be too greedy.
I know.
Okay.
All right. For our main event.
Oh boy.
Matt Reeves is the Batman.
Hot dog.
There is a reason why this was the final panel of the day.
Yeah, because it blew everyone's shit out of the water.
It brought the house down. And I would also say that this was probably, not to be biased, but it was my favorite overall panel. Because what we got was basically like 20 minutes straight of Matt Reeves talking about the Batman.
Just ranting.
And then we got the trailer. But
well, that was also one of the things I was talking about, how he just answered a lot of questions and he went a little too long.
But see, I was fine with it though. Like I tweeted this out too. I said he was, everyone was going nuts about the trailer. Matt Reeves was the best thing about the panel.
Follow the F Nerds podcast on Twitter.
Shameless promotion. He was the best thing about that whole thing because you really got to see how invested he is in this character, how much of an understanding he has of this his character,
Yeah.
and what he plans on doing for like Gotham and just like his world building and everything. And that got me equally as excited as the trailer did, because I knew that this is the right fucking guy to be doing this movie.
And he's talked many times of how he has the same passion for the Batman old school movies that he did for the Apes movies.
Yes.
And we saw what he did with the Apes movies.
Yeah.
So like,
I was also like, did you notice that he referenced, I think it's called Batman Ego? Where
Yes.
like they had, like he referenced that as being a really big influence, which I was shocked because I thought he was going to say like Long Halloween as being the biggest influence, but he talked about that.
And then he also talked about French Connection and Chinatown, which got me excited.
Which was also shocking because this trailer has a distinctive movie that we assume that what it looks like. That everyone is like, this is what this movie looks like. But so do you want to do it?
Yes,
you
let's
want to jump in?
talk about this.
All right. So
Oh my God!
Let's jump into this trailer. It was amazing.
Best trailer of the year.
Best trailer of the year. Probably one of my favorite trailers of all time.
Absolutely.
The Nirvana track just fit this mood perfectly,
and the way it blended in with Giacchino's score at the end. Oh my God.
It was amazing. All right, so Martin, let's dive in.
I've said this. You know I've said this a million times. This is going to be the best Batman movie ever made.
Yeah.
I've said, I'm like, the cast, the director. Like, I was watching it again with my brother, and he was like, he's just going to talk for the whole time. I'm like, probably. Like, but he's a fucking genius. Yeah. I told him, I'm like, he's a genius. I mean, he's like, who is he? I'm like, he's the one who did like the Apes movies. I'm like, trust me, this guy's a genius. He knows what he's doing. And just everything, the director they got, the cast involved. Clearly, it was going to be a more story-driven movie. The comments that he made early on about being a noir and more detective film, and just everything that I've heard, everything that I've seen. Yes, I had issues. There was no doubt in my mind that Pattinson was going to be an amazing Bruce Wayne, but I had some issues with him possibly being a
good Batman.
A good Batman. You know, but I always said, even though I had those issues, I always said, in Reeves we trust.
Yes.
In Reeves we trust. I got faith in the Reeves that I trust his vision. And clearly he looks incredible as Batman. He is intimidating. He's brooding. He's ruthless. He does not give a fuck. He's emo, which I love. You know, I love the great meme of like, you know, when you got to fight the Joker at 8, but save the Black Parade at 10. Like, and he's wearing, like, I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Which I think that's the other thing too that everyone has brought up is the fact that he's wearing the eyeliner. And they're rolling with it.
Yeah, because all the time, like you always think, I always harness back to the Batman Returns moment when he takes off, he's got a thing, and then they come back to when he's got without it. It's like, he doesn't care. He's like, and Pattinson just being like, oh, weird and like emo and strange. He's probably like, I want the makeup. Yeah. Like, let's do it. Let's keep the makeup. And he's like, and I'm like, yes, this movie is like, I literally lost my mind. I was, when we get that beatdown, I screamed.
Dude, the beatdown is like,
I screamed.
Yeah.
And I'm so mad. My brother was like, you should have recorded yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, you should have.
And I was like, I'm so upset I didn't, because I literally like lost my mind. I was just through the roof, and I'm this looks incredible.
It does.
It looks incredible.
So let's jump into this trailer and dissect it a little bit. So obviously Pattinson looks awesome as Batman. We know this is year 2 Batman, and he's I think one of the things that I read about it was that he's still experimenting with how he wants to go about, like, you know, helping fight the crime and the corruption in Gotham City. And I think they said when he gets to this, when we meet him at this point, he's still figuring it out, and he's upset because what he's done so far in the last like year and a half is not working. So he's still trying to figure it out, and that's when the murders start happening.
And Reeves said that we're going to see him fail as Batman. And we're going to see how he reacts and the cause and effect of him failing as Batman. How it's going to work out.
So this, and then they said this is when the murders start happening. Paul Dano's Riddler. Don't get a lot, but what we get is fucking effective, and I love his voice. It's like deep, and it's like, you know,
it's almost like Bane but without an accent.
Exactly.
Like, I just kept thinking, like, when he was doing like when we get that what does he say? Like, I can't remember. Fuck. I should have remembered because I've seen this trailer like a zillion times.
Oh, he goes, if you are justice.
Yeah. If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye?
But that reminded me of, like, give it back to you.
The people.
Nick knows this. I do Bane impressions
all
out
the time.
the ass. That's like my second language. But yeah, but it's like that, but just without the accent. And,
Yes.
it's menacing. And I love the dialogue at the end. He's like, you're a part of this. He's like, how am I a part of this? Like, you'll see. I was like, yes! Like, let's go! Like, give me this movie now. And there's only 25% of the movie. Like, what the fuck?
That's what's mind-blowing about this, is you watch this and it feels like it's a complete movie, and it's like, no, this is only 25%.
Look, let's be real here. There is I am sweating. I am
is that towel?
I got, yeah.
Is it
From
soaked?
now on, on the shows, I'm going to have a paper towel on deck to above the sweat excitement. But, catch my breath. I don't want to breathe into the mic, which I do sometimes. But, what was it getting at? What was I going to say? I completely lost it.
You lost it.
I completely...
You're going to find it.
I don't know.
Do you want me to continue on?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. So the other thing that I absolutely loved was Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon. For everything, for people that were kind of sort of doubting it, he looks absolutely fantastic. He embodies, like, as soon as he walked on, I'm like, this is fucking Jim Gordon. He looks, it's just the mustache, the hair, just his presence, how he talks. I'm like, this is fucking Jim Gordon. And the other thing that I absolutely loved was I feel like Jim Gordon is the only ally to Batman, which I feel like we've had in the past. But
I loved seeing him in the room with all the people.
Well, that's how it's revealed.
I loved it. Just like, you see his boots, and then I love the one shot where it's like an over the shoulder shot from the back. You see kind of him in frame, kind of faded out, because we're obviously focusing on the on like the forensic scientist taking the pictures, and then the one guy just turns to him.
Yeah.
And you can just tell he's like, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, bro, but just the fact that he's amidst the crime, like in true detective form. And then, that scene when he's like, this doesn't mean anything to you, in the green envelope.
Yeah.
And then when obviously when we first get him, just chills.
Yes.
Instant chills. I was just like, oh my God.
But the other thing I was getting at too was him being kind of Batman's only ally in the GCPD, because we get this ridiculous. I'm curious what's going on in this shot. They're in like this cage with all these other GCPD officers, and Batman starts to get into a fight with these guys, and Jim Gordon has to like hold him back.
Reeves talks about like the corruption in the police department.
Well, do you have a theory as to what's going on there?
I don't, but again, it's just a thing of Batman amongst everyone. He's not being the usual sort of isolated, only contacting with Jim, kind of what we've gotten a lot in mediums over however amount of years. But the fact that he's in it, like in the muck, in the ground dirty, with the detectives, with the police officers, investigating the crime, being in the the investigation scene with Joker in The Dark Knight, which is like one of my favorite scenes of all time. It's just him and Joker.
Right.
The cops are outside. This time he's in there with the fucking cops. So it's like a whole different aspect that just looks... Everything about it is new, it's different, and it's just exciting. It's so exciting.
But that scene I was talking about is people think that Riddler has a mole in the GCPD.
He definitely does.
And Batman sniffs it out, and obviously the cops don't trust him. So that's what's going on there. And then we also get Colin Farrell completely unrecognizable, which most people didn't catch this the first couple times. And like he looks fantastic. Like, just like the makeup effects is really well done, and you only get a little bit of him, but it's cool to see that he's populating this world. Same thing with Zoe Kravitz Catwoman. You don't get much of her, but you get enough to see. Obviously it's
amazing.
A super early costume that she's wearing,
and
but
it looks amazing.
It was still really cool to see.
Just her in that again. My God, I can't say that is Catwoman. Her breaking in, being all sly and sexy, sliding down from the ceiling.
That was the cool. You get that
rope.
Nice wide shot of her.
Yeah, her sliding down, and she lands, and she like that is Catwoman. That is Selena Kyle. Like, that's who she is, and like, I mean, everything about it to me was like, yes. This
is the ultimate Batman movie.
This is the ultimate cut. Like, this, everything about it is, and look, it's not gonna work for everyone. I know, I get that, but for me personally, I'm like, this is what I want. Yeah. And like we were talking about, this feels like a Fincher movie. This feels like Zodiac. Feels like Seven. It feels like a dark sort of thriller with murders going on, leaving clues. Almost like, I got also Bone Collector vibes. Yeah. And it's just Batman again in detective mode, trying to figure out what is going on and chasing this serial killer, and that's just so much fun.
And the other thing that I kind of got from this trailer, and this is something that that I'm really happy with, is I was wondering what kind of I guess in terms of realism Reeves was going for. And even though this has very realistic features, I feel like that he's found a balance between being a comic book movie and having and it being grounded, because whereas Nolan is like extremely realistic, like it feels very real, like it just feels like the real world with a guy that dresses up as Batman. This feels like a comic book movie, but it doesn't lose that sense of realism and grounded that you come to expect from Batman, which is what I really loved. So like this just feels like the merging of two worlds, which is why it feels very,
because Nolan's movie is like more of like a crime drama, similar to crime drama with Batman. This is like that too, but more of like a noir aspect with Batman, which is what Reeves has said a million times, and it's so evident in this trailer. So, I remember what I was going to say, of how we were talking about how this is only the 25%, the first 25% of the movie.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what we're getting. And look, there is, because this is very movie-ish. They get all the heavy CG action scenes out of the way early.
Right.
So for all we know, like, yes, we got a lot of Batman, but don't think that we're going to get 75% more, like 75%
action
more
sequences and stuff.
Right, because for all we know, a lot of the kind of heavy work, so to speak, was out of the way early.
Yes.
And also like when you get the clapper, when it was like day one, that was the chair where the guy was sitting on, and like it just oh my god, I've seen this trailer a million times. I can watch it a million times more. We're gonna go see Tenet in IMAX on Friday.
Yep.
And I hope we get it on IMAX. I'm excited to see it on the big screen, but yeah, this trailer was fantastic.
It was really awesome. I also liked how you got a little bit of Andy Serkis, his dialogue as Alfred, which I wouldn't be shocked if he actually recorded that just for this trailer, because I don't think Andy Serkis has actually been on set at all for this movie yet. Because he was still dealing with Venom when COVID hit and they started filming the Batman. So I wouldn't be surprised if he actually just recorded it just for this trailer. But still, really awesome to hear just him, his presence in this trailer. And yeah, man, everything about it was perfect. I
hope we get some Batman Alfred fighting. I hope we get that, because I thought we were originally going to get that with Jeremy Irons and Batfleck of almost Jeremy Irons training him, and obviously Serkis is a little bit younger, and I hope, and he has a military background. I hope we do get some sort of training scene where they're like because there's been stuff like that before, when like in like cartoons and whatever, when Alfred fakes an entry, so he like fakes an entry and he breaks into the house and he tries to like kill Bruce, and then Bruce has to defend himself, and obviously Alfred gets the upper hand and he's like, I could have killed you like 5 minutes ago if I wanted to.
Well, we got that a little bit in Gotham, the TV show, with him training the young Bruce Wayne.
Exactly. And I just hope we get a little bit more of that in this, because I think like Serkis and Pattinson have a really good fun dynamic there.
Definitely. So the last thing I wanted to talk about with this Batman trailer, and this is pure speculation, but I will put all the money I have that this is going to happen, is you get a little tease. It could just be an Easter egg, but I think it's going to be more for what's going to come with Reeves' story going forward beyond this first movie.
Absolutely, dude.
So the Riddler card. Do you know what's on the front of that card?
Wait, which Riddler card?
The first one that Jeffrey Wright opens up and he starts reading.
What some nerd already deciphered? Yes. God, I love you nerds!
Right.
What does the liar do when he's dead? He lies still.
Ugh, so good.
Yeah.
But do you know what's on the front of that card?
No.
An owl.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
And there is no reason why I feel like this is not just a cheat. It's not like fucking Matt Reeves is in CVS picking out a card to be in the movie. There's a reason why there's an owl on this front cover. Because if you know the Court of Owls, they are this secret society that's been in Gotham for like centuries. Like
and tied into Gotham's families. Obviously, Bruce being from one of the most prestigious Gotham families of all time.
Reeves is setting up Court of Owls. I have no doubt in my mind that that's what's happening. And I would feel like that they're the ones that are going to be behind Riddler doing his thing. I think they're the ones that are kind of giving him the resources in order to do what he has to do. And I have no doubt in my mind that we're getting Court of Owls in Reeves' Batman trilogy.
I didn't even think of that, and now you fucked me up, because now I want that.
Yeah.
You've inception in my head, and now if we don't get that, I'm gonna check out.
It's gonna happen.
As the movie starts to finish, if we don't get that, I'm just gonna walk out.
Well, it could be like for the third movie.
I'm
so
just
he
kidding.
might not
There's no fucking way I'm walking out. No way in hell.
But I'm just saying, like I firmly believe that we are getting Court of Owls at some point.
I want that now.
Especially since like just watching Reeves talk about how much of a focus he has on Gotham and the world building. And
I would be all for that in the second movie.
Yeah.
Because I feel by the time you get to the second one, we're most likely going to recycle characters. So rather than recycling characters, why don't we bring in new ones? And then we'll save the third one.
Yes.
For Joker.
Well, that's my thing too. Is even though we're getting Riddler, we're getting Penguin, we're getting Catwoman, even though we've gotten these characters before, we haven't gotten them like this. That's why I'm really excited for this.
But we've only gotten them, well, I guess we've gotten the majority of characters only once. I think the only one we really got twice was Bane.
And Catwoman.
Catwoman we got correct. So we're getting
a couple times, but still, we haven't gotten these characters like this. So I'm really excited to see them like this. But yes, going forward for his second and third movie, I want new characters. Court of Owls would be perfect, especially for this world that he's setting up. I think would be just it makes sense. I think it just makes logical sense.
Even more mystery, like who is behind us, who's underground, like how are we doing this?
And that goes into the whole detective aspect, you know, of him.
Right. So it's very much in the world that he's establishing, and yeah, man, I'm just like we said, he's clearly. I know, like people are like, how many villains are going to be in there? But when we first see Penguin, and he's got he's like almost outside some like warehouse or something with all these cars. It's very like mafia crime showdown. Like,
yes.
Let's meet here. Like, hey, you want to buy some guns? I got some guns for you. How much money? Are you gonna, you know, like very like something along those lines. So I just feel like we're going to get little snippets here and there of these people. Obviously, Riddler's going to be the main one.
Well, even Colin Farrell's commented that he doesn't have a ton to do in this movie. He's kind of introduced. So I feel like Penguin's going to be a secondary character, kind of as a through line throughout maybe the entire trilogy. That he's always going to be a guy that's there in the background that Bruce either uses or has to tussle with a little bit here and there to get information out of, you know what I mean?
And I think Catwoman's going to be like the sort of like adversary. Like she's going to help him out, and even though like not necessarily because she wants to, but she's going to feel like, you know, I should probably do this, or else this guy's really going to destroy Gotham.
Right.
So like I'm going to team up with you, Bat. Oh my God. The second she calls him Bat and the second he calls her Cat, I'm going to start crying. I'm just going to lose my, because like this is Batman and Selina. Like that's who they are. And I love the fact that you're establishing her this early on, because you can properly build their romance, build their relationship, and where it goes, who knows. But yeah, everything about this just feels right. And we didn't even really talk about the beatdown that much, which is like
well, because I feel like everyone's been talking about the beatdown now,
but it's awesome, and it just looks, and I love like natural, organic looking fights. It just, except okay, I will be honest, when he punches him down at the end, there's a little rubbery. The thug's a little rubbery and he quickly falls.
Although you know what else reminded me of too is after he knocks him down, you get that big thud, and he gives him the last like 1-2 punch, the double tap. But the way he kind of like comes over with it,
it's almost like a hammer fist.
No, but I immediately thought of like when the apes were beating down people in Dawn and War.
Oh,
like,
I immediately thought
how they come down.
I immediately thought of Batfleck.
You thought of Batfleck?
Yeah, because he does that too. He does.
He does. But that's straight down. Like when he literally just comes over, I'm like, oh, it's like fucking like.
It's really just the hammer fist after you knock him down. Like you needed Herb Dean to jump in there and just.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like he's out. That's it.
Well, did you see like as the beatdown's happening? There's like that one thug in the back of his face who's like crying.
There was a tweet. I was trying so hard to find it, but it was like some guy tweeted out. He's like, "My guy out here crying, knowing that he's next." And then someone, and then there was like a picture of that with a dude crying. And then someone else tweeted, and he was like, "Man, my guy's over here like with his phone out, bro. Enjoy the moment." And then like the dude's like recording it.
Yeah.
He's like, "Bro, live in the moment. Put your phone away." But these thugs are interesting because these look like Joker thugs.
Yeah.
These look like very Batman Beyond-ish Joker thugs. I
also got a little bit Batman Forever vibes with the dudes with the glow in the dark face paint.
So I don't know who they are or why they're, but obviously then we see him against sort of a. It looks like after the beatdown when Batman stands up again to face him after he says, "I'm vengeance." When he gets up to face him, that's like the shot that we get of him before the logo, before the title card, of him standing up in front of all the thugs. So I have a theory that this is kind of when we first see sort of Batman.
Okay.
In the movie. Like, I feel like this is kind of when we're first going to get him. Obviously, because he says I'm vengeance too. Like, that's... is always early on. Always.
It is, and like I think that everyone expected that to be the I'm Batman, but the fact that he says I'm vengeance as a callback.
Oh my God, can we also talk about how these fucking people were leaking shit?
Oh, I know.
Like, what the
during DC FanDome,
Oh my God, like... It's so annoying. It's just one of those things where it's like you have to show off what you have. Like, look what I have. Bro, we're gonna see it in literally a couple hours. Like, fuck off.
Relax. Well, that happened with the Snyder Cut trailer.
Yeah, everything. And Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
like,
and Wonder
everything.
Woman,
People were just like leaking everything. It's like, why are you why do you feel a need to just like ruin shit?
Because
like,
people want to be I'm first. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, I'm first.
Yes.
Like, fuck off. I don't get it. But you send me a picture and I'm like, is that what he says? Yeah. Like, I would have much like, I'm not like shitting on you or anything, but like, I would have much rather have gotten the I'm vengeance, like in that moment.
Yeah.
Rather than seeing the picture like a couple hours before.
Right.
But obviously you see that and you just like me. I immediately thought of the animated series. I believe it's like the first or second episode. He's like, "I am vengeance. I am the night."
I am Batman.
And you're just like, "Fuck yeah!" Like that's my guy. But yeah, I feel like that's when we're kind of first going to see him, and these are just going to be thugs. Like these are just going to be Gotham thugs,
Right.
and they're just there as sort of pawns to introduce Batman, show how ruthless he is, show that he literally has no mercy whatsoever, and I loved it. But yeah, the fact that they were like, "Who are you?" and then you see your guy get beat down, you're like, "Oh fuck!" Like, Mom, want to run away, but like, yeah. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was an amazing trailer, and this movie is not coming out until October 1st, 2021, which is a long ways away, but I actually like that it has this October release date, especially if it does deal with the long Halloween. It's going to have those aspects in it, and I also feel like that they are kind of going off of what they did with the Joker, because the Joker came out early October, and it fucking made so much money, and I feel like this movie's going to make boatloads of money.
Bro, emo Batman with... I mean, that's all you have. Emo Batman. You got Batman. You got Robert Pattinson with face paint on, being all emo. Like, that's all you need.
That's all you need.
It's literally, this movie is going to make $1 billion alone just off of that fact.
Absolutely.
All these like Pattinson and Twilight fans want to go see him be all emo and sad and brooding and like save the black and lead the Black Parade.
Well, that was the other thing. Did you see like some of the memes where it was like, teenage girls, you had your time. Now he's with the boys, and it just showed him like, in Twilight form and then in the Batman form. I was like, yes.
Yeah, like he's literally going to sell so many tickets.
Yep.
But something that we spoke about before is how the Gotham that Reeves was creating, this feels like Gotham.
It does feel like Gotham.
Like I'm seeing what and again, it's like he was using Glasgow, he was using those those elements and those resources that Glasgow had to offer, and I believe he also mentioned he spoke about how like when you go to Times Square, it feels like Times Square,
right?
But he's like, but in this case, Times Square for Gotham is going to be Liverpool, because I feel like they also filmed in Liverpool.
Well, I think he also said that he was using different locations to make up Gotham, so that
which is smart.
Which is smart because you use different locations, so it's not one thing specifically. It's
take
just,
advantage
it's
of like
these,
take advantage of these worlds and whatever to kind of create your world. And clearly he did that, and it feels like Gotham. Like the grime, the muck that we get with the scenes with Penguin, the architecture, those like that room when we first see Joker, like that wooden floor, the wooden background. Riddler, I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, like, even like the interiors, like
that's what I'm saying.
Like it feels like it's a comic book come to life. It feels like some out of a Batman
when
comic.
we first see him, like that wide shot, we see those wooden floors, the background. We see Selena breaking into this double height ceiling space, coming down. Like all that feels like Gotham. It feels like Batman. Everything feels right, and like. This movie, best Batman movie ever. It's going to be the best Batman movie ever made. I felt like this for a long time, and I'm happy that this trailer almost reassured me of that.
Yep.
And
I was gonna say, if you weren't on board before, you have to be now.
How can you not? Okay, I understand that people weren't on board when Pattinson was casted, because obviously, like Twilight. Yeah, I get it. I hate those people so much because Pattinson has literally proven himself with countless movies, but for some reasons people still have that stupid Twilight stigma in his head.
Yep.
Even my brother was like, I didn't know Edward Cullen could do this. I was just
like, watch more movies.
No, but that's the general audience.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I'm saying. Like that's the litmus test. Like that's who the general audience is. They don't watch High Life. They don't watch Good Time. They don't watch Lost City of Z and all these other movies.
Or like The Rover, things like that.
The Rover. Even though I didn't like The Rover or High Life, to be honest. But yeah, he's proven what he can do, and Kristen Stewart also, for that matter.
Yes,
I think she's a fantastic actress, and like, I knew when he came on, I'm like, he's going to be a great Bruce. Batman, I'm not so sure. I trust Reeves though, and then I saw what he was as Batman. I'm like, boom.
And even the Batman voice when he says, "I'm vengeance," I'm like,
I'm vengeance. Yeah,
like this is it. This is it.
Oh my god,
cannot wait.
So excited. I could talk about this trailer forever.
Yeah,
talk about it all day, every day, but we gotta stop.
I know. We'll watch it 10 more times after this.
Yeah. How many? Do you think you saw it over 50 times?
Yes, easily.
Me too. We watched it and then we put it on the TV.
On the big screen, yeah.
Yeah, and we played it back like 3 or 4 times.
Actually, that's the thing. With being on vacation, I only got to watch it on my laptop. I'm going to put it on this big screen right here and probably watch it. Yeah,
Let's do it. I'm going to make myself a bagel and watch the trailer with you.
Yes, sir. All right, well, hopefully you guys have stuck with us through this absolutely massive episode of us going over DC FanDome. Even though it was really long, it was a blast to talk about. And, as always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube page. And remember, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else where you can see that big, beautiful FN logo.
Sexy FN. And
Sexy FN.
I am effing sweating.
I know you.
My back, I can feel it. My armpits, I can feel it.
Take a shower, bro.
Yeah, sweaty nerds, baby, sweaty nerds. I hope you guys. This is a beefy episode.
This was a beefy episode.
If you guys made it through, kudos to you. I hope you do. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, just to echo Nick's sentiments, thank you everyone for all the constant support.
Yeah, it's been an absolute blast. Talking with other podcasts, listening to other people's podcasts, interacting with them, and just interacting with just people that just enjoy all this different kinds of stuff. The support we've gotten has been awesome. The feedback we've gotten is awesome, and it just makes us feel really good when we hear people liking our stuff. And it's really cool.
Agreed.
But with that said, guys, thank you again, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.